So I was going to make a Christmas list. I was going to talk about how you should give games like Battlefield 1 and Uncharted 4, and then a fan gave me Undertale. And after beating the game and getting the true pacifist ending, I realized that it's too easy to praise and talk about all the AAA games. I do that all year. Everyone's talking about Battlefield and Call of Duty and Watch Dogs and Titanfall. It's too easy to ignore the games that don't have multi-million-dollar marketing budgets. So if you want to give your friends and family good AAA games, by all means, definitely do so. I'll even include my list of recommended games in the description. But just for this video, I want to talk about some of the games you might not know about. Games that are made by small studios. Because while life in the AAA gaming industry is rough, the single A and AA sides of the industry can be much worse. It's a huge gamble, and a lot of these studios don't have other titles to fall back on for a paycheck. I knew the guys who made the game Into the Stars. These guys left relatively stable careers in the gaming industry to pursue their dreams. And while I would describe the game as gorgeous but flawed, I have the utmost respect for their willingness to go out on a limb and pursue their dream. And while my videos mostly focus on AAA games, especially this time of the year when week after week we get a new big $60 title, I make sure to spend time to play indie games. Undertale is a great, simple game with an absolutely stellar soundtrack. Really, I'll include a link to the soundtrack. Take some time to listen to the songs and then play the game and enjoy them all over again. But by today's standards, Undertale is super simple. It doesn't have achievements, it only allows for one save slot, it doesn't have multiplayer or leaderboards or DLC, but it has a well-written script, great music, simple, easy to understand mechanics that get much more challenging as the game progresses, and multiple endings. Or how about A Story About My Uncle, a first-person platforming game that uses powered jumps and a grappling hook to create intricate puzzles. The story is simple, the voice acting is mediocre, but in an appropriately cute way. The visuals are bright and colorful, but it's such a straightforward experience. It's the kind of game that can provide a clean, enjoyable experience for gamers of all ages. The kind of experience that ends up being timeless. When I go back and look at all the AAA games I've played, it's often so difficult to try and pick them up and deal with the changes in tastes and mechanics. But games like A Story About My Uncle and Undertale don't have those problems. The mechanics are so simple and straightforward that they can't go stale. And then there's Stacking, a game where you play as the smallest Russian egg doll, jumping into dolls the next size up to solve puzzles and save your family. It has basically no voice acting, instead choosing to deliver its story like a silent movie. It's a Double Fine game, so expect plenty of humor but cute and simple gameplay. When I was a kid, I used to love brain teasers, especially in elementary and middle school. And if you did too, check out Puzzle Agent. In it, you play as Nelson Tethers, an agent of the FBI's Puzzle Research Division, tasked with figuring out why the eraser factory in a rural Minnesota town shut down. The entire game is solving a multitude of brain teaser puzzles, so if that's your cup of tea, you'll love this game. If you prefer platforming with clever mechanics, try Popo.io. The game is a metaphor for a boy dealing with his abusive, alcoholic father, but the gameplay is so clever. It's the kind of story that you can only get from an indie game with a small development team. And there are so many other non-AAA games that deserve your attention. Divinity Dragon Commander, Her Story, the Shadowrun games, the Talos Principle, Costume Quest, the Stanley Parable, and so on and so on and so on. If you're looking for games to gift people, these are the kind of games you should give. I know it sucks not having a box and a disc to wrap up and put under a tree, but for the cash you might have dropped on a game like ReCore, you could practically buy every one of those titles I just mentioned during Steam's upcoming winter sale, and I guarantee you that every one of those games is worth its purchase price. Jonah, thank you for Undertale. Support the indie developers, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.